Ghana Means Business, brought to you by Goil. Goil, good energy.
Ghana Means Business. Your story, our message.
Kwame Pianim, there's a lot when it comes to you. People have different views. Today, we would like to peel you like an onion and get to understand the essence of you. Going into your beliefs, in 1996, you made an attempt to run for president of Ghana. What made you decide to do this laudable act, this selfless act that would have made you the president, and what kind of leadership did you intend to usher in had you been allowed to run and elected as the president?
We should put it in the context of 1996. Ghana was on the verge of almost a civil war in 1992. There was polarization. So we needed to reconcile the nation, national reconciliation. And as you remember, I was running on the platform of national reconciliation. And GhMeansBiz said, check yourself. I checked myself. What do I bring? Contesting around that time was Kufuor, a powerful, as I've said, the greatest retail politician we've ever had. There's no chief in Ghana whom he didn't have some connection or some story to share with. Professor Dubois, honest in terms of moral integrity, financial, anti-corruption, perfect. He was running. I looked at myself, what do I bring? I take my experience and maybe I have something special that these people don't have. First of all, my experience as an international civil servant, a civil servant in the Ministry of Finance, a public servant at Chief Executive Ghana Cocoa Board, and in the private sector, I had worked with the AGI, as well as Ghana Industries, with pioneers, entrepreneurial pioneers like Esther Klu of Nkulenu Industries, Prof. Dr. Addison, Alfred Gezi, Apia Menka. So I knew the problems of all the sectors and the players, the decision makers in those areas. As Chief Executive Cocoa Board, I've traveled the length and breadth of Ghana. I knew Ghana inside out. As a development economist, I knew what to do. And my networking, a lot of my colleagues whom I worked with in the UN were senior officers or ministers in Europe and America, in Greece, in France, and so forth. And in Ghana also, in prison, I'd worked with generals, and then the civilian population.
Within the prison?
In the prison. In the prison, I had the opportunity to get the two Dagbon rivals on the Dabong issue, Lawyer Ibrahim Mahama and Alhaji Seni, brought them together, let them sit in the same cell.
You were in jail with them at the same time?
Yes.
What was their offense, by the way?
They just brought them, the Dagbon issue, so Rodden just ran it, the two of them up and put them there. And I put them together in the same cell. I was sort of senior prefect. I've been there long enough, so we put them in the same cell for them to talk. And on the political side, I had friends on the other side. Atua Hoy, I consider him as a colleague. We work together. I work with a lot of people on the other side, Kwesi Botwe, and some of the others. Even Kwajochi Kata, I knew him at school. Obeda Samoa has been my mentor in secondary school, and we have been friends and colleagues. So I knew both sides. So I thought one thing I could bring is bring people together, national reconciliation. Also, my networking, I could bring it together. And also, I have a knack for mobilizing resources, take a look at the situation, and come up with the resources for us to be able to move things forward. I'll give you an example. When we got to prison, there were sick people. To go to a hospital was a problem. And then I saw that Nkrumah had built a clinic, a whole hospital at Insawan prison. The equipment were there. They needed to be refurbished. I contacted the Catholic Archdiocese in Accra. They said, we'll bring you the medication if you clean it up. I said, well, let's clean it up. Dr. Nyahu Tamaklo was one of the people who was in prison with me. And I said, Nyahu, there's a clinic, we are going to make you the doctor. I said, don't bring yourself. I have my problems I'm thinking about. I know exactly. You are going to do it. Anyway, after 3 days, I convinced him. And there was a midwife who was in prison at the female session. I went to the ADP and said, can you get them to escort her here every morning? He said, okay. So we ran, the hospital was there. It was being run. The prison officers themselves were getting medication there. The Catholics were bringing us the medication. We're running it. The farms, we started running the farm. So I knew if I take any position, I could leverage all this network to be able to move things. And I also know that I can bring disparate people into the same tent and we work together. So those are the type of things I thought I had that I could leverage. None of my competitors had worked through all the sectors of Ghana. The private sector, the public service, the civil service. I had done all that.
Mr. Pianim, had you become president, what would have been your focus? What would you have done differently in order to achieve the agenda that you seek in the transformational leadership?
I think that one of the few things that I could have done differently was ending or minimizing corruption.
I am very interested in this.
Yeah.
So, corruption,
Yeah.
that is a very nervy issue because in Ghana, it is estimated that about 40% of our revenue is eroded through corruption. And if you look at, or even perhaps our GDP, so $60 million, if 40% is going out, that is almost about 200 million that goes out every year. And clearly, that is a major drain on our economy. How would you have ended this cancer?
You know, they say in adversity, when you are in prison, if you're a bad man, you get worse. If you're a good man to begin with, you get better. They say it's like putting any mineral into fire. It refines it. If it's gold, gold comes out. If it's something else, something bad comes out. And when you are with people in adversity, you get to know their character inside out. Those who will sell you for a pittance, those who will always be by you. And say, when you put together a team like Koris Kwashigan, Rekun Brobe, Nyangu Tamaklo, these are not people who are just going to say yes or yes to you. You have to convince them, and you convince them daily. A leader is somebody who convinces people about his goals and continues reminding them, if they are losing heart, to remind them of the goals and they come. So the people I have put together, these are tested people. I've said, I've worked throughout the whole of the Ghana establishment. So selecting 20, 25 people, selecting 15 people or 12 people as key ministers to work with me, you would have been sure that these are people who don't mess around with other people's monies. And they know there will be consequences if something like that happens. So the people you attract, the people you put around you. And also, you know, to be president, you need to have one or two good friends who need nothing from you, who are not lobbying for position for their friends or for others, whom you can go to at the end of the day and they'll tell you, Kwame, wait there, the way you change it. But you have to go to them. They don't have time to come and wait in your lobby for 10 hours or 2 or 3 days. So once you know, you yourself, that you tell your people, in my campaign team, everybody knew. We finish a campaign, you don't come and tell me, oh, that was great. No. What can we do better? Don't tell me how, if it was great, I know it. If it is not great, I know it. So the way you relate to your people, and invariably, if you are not vaccinated against sycophants, people will push you away from your people. But you make sure that the people who have, they are loyal, not to you, your person, but loyal to the principles, the goals that you set for yourself. And once you have these checks, probably you could have, but I would have set a tone for corruption from the top. They tell you, if a fish is getting rotten, it starts from the head. And I also had, as a great friend, a childhood friend, Kofi Annan. And Kofi would need nothing from me. And I had expected that he would give me tough love. Tell me, Kwame, That's wrong. Don't go there. So with all the my experience in the past and the things I could put together, that was something that I have. And I've demonstrated that I can put funds together, as I did for SNIT, as I did for the Teachers Fund.
Yes.
I know how to mobilize money.
Absolutely.
Every now and again, Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goil Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goil Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goil Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Goil Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Ghana means business. Your story, our message.
Within the concept of advisors, most of our presidents, because of the Constitution, and secondly, because of the way they are literally worshipped, become emperors, and the sycophants around them also drum out reason. As a leader who is besieged with such conflicting noises, how do you navigate through these stormy waters?
I think that, your self-confidence and your respect for the colleagues you bring around you means that they themselves will also have the courage to speak openly.
The question is, to speak openly has resulted in a lot of people having either their positions taken away from them or marginalized or sidelined. So I guess depending on the type of leader, one would need to tread cautiously in the advice and the moral courage that he has in giving to the leader. Would you say so?
Yes, but the leader himself should know that what he wants is good advice for him to be able to achieve his goals. That's priority number one. And your goal is service to the people. So you want to serve the people. You want to know what is the best way to serve the people. So you always want the best advice. And if you telegraph to people that you want to be worshipped, you don't want the truth, you don't want people to say how great you are, of course they'll give you that. You yourself said it. The leader is as good as the people he surrounds himself with. And you become like the people you surround yourself with. And Meles of Ethiopia, surrounding with his people, robust discussion. You go there having a debate, you don't know who is the leader. And that's what you need. You need a robust discussion. And you need also a small group. The psychologists will tell you that you cannot arrive at a good decision if you have more than 7, 9 people. So maybe the constitutional requirement of not more than 15 members of cabinet is something we should look at very carefully.
Can you expand on that a bit?
For example, if you have, a board of directors, for somebody to make a statement and you counter, and him to come back with the feedback, and for him, everybody to listen creatively and change their mind, adapt their position so that you get a considered view. If you have 50 people, 100 people, you need 3 days to get to that. But we have 2-3 hours for a cabinet meeting to make decisions. Then you need a small cabinet, 15 we said in the Constitution. People tell you that you go beyond 20, 25, 50, it's no longer a meeting. You just go, you say it, and then everybody will concur with you. And also, preparation for the meetings. There has to be a well-reasoned paper, a cabinet memo, that goes, everybody has time to read it, they come, and cabinet memos are structured in Ghana. You have to say, what is the problem? What are the solutions that you are proposing? Why this particular solution? Whether you've consulted the Attorney General so that there are no legal impediments. Finance, that the financial implications are okay. And then the technical ministries are all consulted, and then you go for a cabinet decision. So you don't just go and with no preparation and everybody is ready to talk. But if you are not the person whom your people believe is only interested in the truth, and if you are not sure that all your colleagues don't have a conflict of interest, then you know that the preparation, the environment, and the size will lead you to the best possible consideration in the interest of the people.
Mr. Pianim, you're someone who is very close to the grassroots. You're very close to the people. Generally, Ghanaians, what is their view of our leaders, both past and present?
I think that we have an exaggerated entitlement mentality. We think that the government owes us everything. We also have the wrong concept of leader. Who is a leader? We have religious leaders in our homes. Our fathers and mothers are the leaders. We have traditional rulers. We have leaders at different levels. So when we say we want our leaders to be accountable, we have to start with ourselves. Are we as individuals accountable to our children, to our families? If we don't start from there, we are not going to get accountability at the top. Political parties are the constituency people, the polling community, at the regional level. Are they all accountable to one another before we expect? You see, I think that the time has come. Ghana has gone through a lot. In our 63 years, we've gone through military disruptions. We've seen demagogues. We've seen people who claim they are coming to save us, saviors, who end up treating us like donkeys they ride. We've gone through all that. And the time has come for us to realize that we as a people, we are all responsible and accountable. And that our goal should be peace and prosperity for this country. In Southern Africa, they are talking about Ubuntu. Ubuntu means service to the other. You know, so you don't think of yourself only as atomistic individual. You know, for the Western philosophy, you know, cogito ergo sum, I think, therefore I am. The African concept is different. We say, I am, because I belong to a family. The family is more important than I am. The tribe is more important than I am. If we can take the family loyalty, the tribal loyalty to the national level, then the nation becomes more important than we are. And if you take that principle, then when you are stealing $10,000 at the national level.
10,000.
As if
that is petty cash.
Just stealing $10,000. I'm not talking about millions. You know that 10,000 can repair the school under the mango tree you left, can build beds in a hospital for maternity, for someone to go and deliver. So it's how we view ourselves. And I think the time has come. I meet young people who are talking, we need a revolution in Ghana. We've had a revolution. Rawlings took us through 15, 20 years. Some of it, hell, we don't want to go through that again. We want evolution. Let us talk to one another and see how we can build from where we are going. The education of the people. If we give our young people the skills that they need and the jobs are there, if somebody is doing 3 jobs, 2 jobs in a day, when will he have time for somebody to make him a vigilante for a political party? When will he have time to be calling radio stations, to be insulting chiefs, traditional rulers, and his elders? So I think the concept of leadership is wrong. We are all leaders. We should hold ourselves accountable before we hold others accountable. We should remove the speck in our eye.
Yes, that is true. On the issue of youth, we currently have a youth unemployment in Ghana of about 40%. In Ghana, statistics shows that maybe our youth population is close to maybe 45%. So let's say that of a population of 30 million, our youth population is around maybe 12 million. Of this 12 million, 40% are unemployed. That is close to about 6 million youth. Now, Mr. Pianim, if you look across the rest of Africa, the statistics is slightly higher. It's about 45%. If you look at our youth in the diaspora, you always hear about being profiled, being murdered, being incarcerated, all sorts of racist tendencies that tend to bedevil our youth in the diaspora. Do you think that our governments, based on the policies, based on their budgets, and based on their focus, are sensitive enough to this issue of our youth? Taking those three into consideration, the way we do our budgets, our national policies, and our priorities as a nation, do you think that we are developing pragmatic ways to lift our youth out of this dangerous, vicious cycle?
Kwame, the one who wrote The Beautiful Ones Are Not Yet Born, said in one of his recent books that if we continue to ship out our natural resources, raw materials, for value to be added in other countries, our youth will follow the raw materials to seek non-existent jobs in places where they are not wanted or at best tolerated. The idea of value addition, I think one of the things that attracted a lot of people to President Akufo-Addo's program was this idea of changing the economy from the gadget-based economy of raw material, railway, taking our goods to the ports and shipping out, to value addition. If we focus on that, maybe our cocoa, it will not be the beans that will be going. First of all, we process them, it will be the cocoa butter, the cocoa liquor, the paste that will be going, and then chocolate products, manufactured products will be going. Our minerals, we'll process them here. So that our construction is not foreign exchange intensive. Iron rods will be made here. We have the capacity. We have the people, the trained people. I mean, when Nkrumah started industrializing through import substitution, he didn't have the people. We're making fridges, radio, Akasanoma, Sanyo, and so forth. But we didn't have the lawyers to write the law in such a way that they just don't bring us the parts to assemble, but there should have been a place for us, small-scale industries, to produce parts that will add. This is how industries begin. Tractors, bringing tractors for agricultural transformation. The buckets, what we need are foundries to be able to make them so that we can bring that. And even the tractors themselves, gradually, parts of it will be done. Bauxite, alumina, engine blocks. We can make the engine blocks in Ghana. So our bauxite doesn't go as bauxite. We don't bring the alumina, but bauxite into alumina, into blocks. So the basics are there. This idea of one district, one factory, to me, means making sure the rural areas can host industries. That the water should be there, electricity is there, education, skills, so that you take your professionals to be there. There's a place for them to take their children to school. So we are on the right path, but we need to focus. And then development should be from the grassroots. This idea of elected district chief executive, we should pursue that, so that we are not looking at just one flower in the presidency, but we are looking at 1,000, as the Chinese say, let 1,000 flowers bloom all across Ghana. And that is the way to move and make sure that jobs are created for our young people in value addition where the income is high. Ghanaians, you've seen them outside. If there's something for them to do here, they'll be here.
That is true.
Every now and again, Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goil Super XP Run 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goil Super XP Run 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goil Super XP Run 95 gives you a smooth driving experience that is less vibrations. Fill up with Goil Super XP Run 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Ghana means business. Your story, our message.
Nkrumah had incredible models. Incredible models. Value added, silos, farming, youth, so many incredible models. Why can't we borrow the very best that Nkrumah had, as you have so well spoken about, and implement them now? Why do we need to recreate the wheel? Why do we need to revisit untested, untried paths that we don't even know where it will take us? Because clearly, Nkrumah had a vision, and I'm sure you will agree with me.
It is stated that every generation has to create their path to peace and prosperity. The Chinese model is different. Everybody is using a different model. Nkrumah was based on import substitution. Import substitution doesn't work now. So what we should take from Nkrumah is that we have to industrialize, okay? The actual thing that we need to do is different. It's now ICD. China is very competitive. You can't compete with China. So there are ways, places that we can compete. We have cocoa beans. Maybe that's why processing. Build factories and processing plants for cocoa. Let's become the cocoa king. I started by saying our nation as Ghana needs now to identify with something. When you meet a foreigner, what is Ghana famous for? What do you say? A few years ago, they say, oh, football, blasters, boxing. Now, what do we say? So there's the narrative we have to put to our children. Maybe democratic country where people have elections without killing one another. It's a plus. So we need a powerful narrative to guide. Nkrumah had a vision, was a visionary. We still live in the shadow of Nkrumah in terms of African unity. All that is happening, the content free trade, are all from Nkrumah's book. And Ghana, we should be proud. 1970, was it 1970? Nkrumah had been overthrown a long time ago, 4 years. I was coming from Tanzania to Kenya, and a Maasai stopped us. The professor I was with took a picture. He said, you want money? We should pay money. He's a warrior. And I said, look, I'm not paying, I'm a warrior. And he spoke Swahili to me. I said, I don't speak Swahili. He said, why are you from Africa? I don't speak Swahili. I said, far away from here. He said, oh, Obote country. I said, no, far away. Nkrumah country. A Maasai warrior. Nkrumah country. That's how we got to know Ghana. Nkrumah put Africa, Ghana, Africa, the black man on the global map. And we're proud. Every African you met abroad pretended to be a Ghanaian. That's where we need to go now.
Mr. Pianim, I cannot thank you enough. The insightful wisdom of what Nkrumah did, the contemporary issues that we raised, and the answers you gave were concise, pragmatic, and practical. Ghana, indeed, is grateful to have you. And just like GhMeansBiz was your mentor, you are also our mentor. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Very grateful.
My pleasure being here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.